What's up, everyone? Welcome into episode number 509, where the Detroit Lions fall to the Minnesota Vikings at home 27-24 in a game that, to be completely honest with you, the Lions weren't good enough and probably didn't deserve winning. And Dan Campbell basically said the same thing in his press conference after this game, is that basically this team did everything that they could do to not win this game. And I thought that the Lions offensively in this game was not very good. Even though that Jared Goff threw for 284 yards, 2 touchdowns, I didn't think Jared Goff was very good in this game. When he had time, when he was able to find his guys, yes, was he accurate? Yeah, he was. But there was also points where Jared Goff, where it had time, where he missed his throws. And I thought that he wasn't the only one that performed poorly. I thought the offensive line wasn't very good in this game. The Lions ran for 65 yards in this game, which is unacceptable for the Lions. Jahmyr Gibbs wasn't able to get going offensively. David Montgomery wasn't able to get going offensively. I thought the offensive line did not perform well whatsoever protecting Jared Goff. I thought that the Minnesota Vikings did a very good job of bringing pressure. I thought the play calling offensively wasn't good enough. I thought John Moran wasn't very good in this game, to be completely honest with you. It seemed like basically every third down and long, he ran a screenplay that could get absolutely nothing. The Lions finally converted their first 3rd and 10 plus this year for a first down, which is absolutely absurd. The Lions have struggled getting first downs on 3rd downs. That has been an issue this year. I thought the Lions just didn't get good enough performances out of their guys. I did think Sam Laporta was really good in this game. He had a big touchdown to help the Lions get a 7-0 lead early on in this game. A 4th down, the Lions was pretty good 4th down converting-wise, which is obviously a good thing, but it shouldn't really get to that point of needing to. I thought Sam Laporta was by far probably the best player offensively in this game. I do think that you do have to give a lot of credit to Jameson Williams. I thought he wasn't involved at all very much in this game until late in this game, and when he was involved, he was making plays. There was a beautiful touchdown pass to Jameson Williams with about like a minute and 54 left to go to give the Lions even a chance to win this game, to make it a 27-24 game. Obviously, the Lions weren't able to get a stop. A really great throw by J.J. McCarthy. I think that's one of the biggest, most frustrating parts of it, is that this Lions made J.J. McCarthy and this Vikings offense look pretty good. And I think there was times where the Lions did look good defensively, but when the Lions needed to get stops, there's some times where there was really bad routes taken. There was penalties taken. There was, I think, 2 or 3 times, I believe, a penalty gave the Vikings the first down, which is completely unacceptable to even have that happen more than once. To even have that happen once, I think that is completely unacceptable. Defense-wise, though, I thought Terrion Arnold looked actually pretty good. He did have some plays toward the end that he didn't look necessarily great, but he did have a really great pass breakup in the red zone. He did get his first interception on the day, so really, really happy for him. First career interception. Really great play by him. I thought in pass coverage he was actually pretty good throughout this game. Stopping the run, I didn't think he was great. He did basically get stiff-armed by Jordan Mason, which obviously isn't really a great thing. But, just overall, wasn't really thrilled with this game for the Lions. I thought Aiden Hutchinson did have some really nice plays. He had 1 sack in this game, I believe. So, obviously, that's a really good sign. He was able to get to JJ. But, this team, they're just dealing with so many injuries. And I don't want to blame this game on injuries solely. But you end up losing Terrion in this game. You didn't have Kirby Joseph in this game. You end up losing Amik for a little bit. He did end up coming back. Sounds like he's fine. So that's good. But then you look at offensive line. Mahogany didn't look good whatsoever after his injury. He had to get carted off the field. Taylor Decker got injured, did come back in this game. This was an offensive line that just was continuing to rotate guys throughout this game. And do I think that played a little bit of a factor in kind of the struggling to run the ball offensively? I think it had a slight factor, but again, you need to be able to run the ball in the NFL. And this is a Minnesota Vikings team that struggled to stop the run throughout this year. This was the first game this Minnesota Vikings team looked good stopping the run. And I don't know if that's a sign of worry. Am I extremely worried about this Lions team? No. I think this Lions team is too good. I think this Lions team is too talented. But this was one of the worst games I've seen the Lions play in a while. And even Dan Campbell specifically said that. He was not very happy in this game. It was just overall a very disappointing game for the Lions. And unfortunately, because of this, you're still right there for a chance to even win. So a little bit fortunate, but unfortunately as well, this is your second loss in the conference. And there's a real chance that that might not hurt them in the long run. You're still going to have to go to Minnesota. You're still going to have to be right there with Green Bay. Green Bay lost today, so if that is one defining moment of this weekend, it's that Green Bay lost. The Bears did win, which obviously isn't great. Still don't think the Bears are going to win the division whatsoever. But, this was a real opportunity for the Lions to get a game on the Packers, to keep their game up against the Bears. And I thought defensively, like I talked about at the beginning, they weren't good enough. The secondary wasn't good enough. They weren't very good at keeping J.J. McCarthy in the pocket. He had a running touchdown, really bad angle by Alex Anzalone. You had the last play. You do have to give J.J. McCarthy a ton of credit for that throw. Great throw by him to Jalen Naylor, former Michigan quarterback to the former MSU quarterback. Kind of a punch in the gut, knife in the heart for a lot of fans this week. I know if you're a Michigan fan, you're obviously still happy you won that game, but if you're an MSU fan, this is an awful weekend for you. That heartbreaking loss against Minnesota, this game against Minnesota, which was an unacceptable performance just all around. There's really a ton more that I can get into just because, if you look at just what the Vikings were able to do offensively, obviously JJ threw the one interception, 2 touchdowns though. Aaron Jones was actually able to kind of get going a little bit when he was able to get in there. Jordan Addison did get going a little bit. I thought that the Lions did pretty good at JJ throughout this game. Had 6 receptions, 47 yards, did have the touchdown in this game. I thought this was just one of those unacceptable performances. I think the Lions did not do enough. I think the Lions really, really minorly struggled to score. And I feel like this isn't something, like I mentioned earlier, this isn't something that I'm extremely panicking about. But what's happening this year is similar to what happened last year. And I'm not specifically saying what happened last year is going to happen this year. But if you look at the injuries in the secondary, there's a lot of them. Now, good thing you have Aiden Hutchinson. You have a pass rush that was able to do something. I don't think it was great in this game. Stopping the run was all right, to put it kindly. There were several points in this game that you truly see what the injuries are doing to this Lions team. It's about trying to get healthy. And my biggest concern about this game is that this was a team coming off of a bye week. And coming off a bye week, it's important not only to get healthy, but get ready for this game. And it truly didn't seem like this team was ready to play. Didn't seem like this team wanted to win this game. Didn't seem like this team was motivated. And Dan Campbell talked about it, basically said he wasn't good enough. He didn't get these guys ready. Do I think part of the game and the reason why it happened is because, quote-unquote, this is the Minnesota Vikings and how they have performed without J.J. McCarthy? I don't want to specifically say yes, but this was a Vikings team that was not playing well whatsoever. This was a real opportunity for the Lions to put away the Minnesota Vikings for the rest of the year. Now, because of this, not only did you not do that, you're giving them momentum. And again, do I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to catch the Lions? No, I don't. I think the Lions are too good. I think the Lions will get things figured out. I truly do. But when you have the opportunity to put away a team, you need to do so. And I think that's the biggest issue that I had in this one, is that you didn't put away a team that you had an opportunity to do so. You didn't look good either. And this was the worst performance we've seen in years for the Lions. And I don't think this is something that's going to see its head again. I think this is going to be a one-off situation. I think some people might say, well, look at the Commanders game last year. Well, guess what? You had no one on defense last year. You didn't have Aiden Hutchinson. The defense was completely broke. Now, this game, secondary, you still had Brian Branch. You still had guys there, now obviously injured throughout this game. And this is still a really young offensive line, especially in the interior. And I thought that Graham Glasgow wasn't good in this game. And he's the veteran guy in the middle. He needs to be good. Tate Radledge got hurt during this game. But also, he wasn't good. And Dan Campbell specifically said, yes, I understand these guys are young. But at this point in this year, they need to take steps up. And that middle of the offensive line didn't take steps up. Penei Sewell, I thought, was decent in this game. I know that the Lions usually have issues with this Minnesota defense, especially when they bring pressure. The good thing is that besides this game, Jared Goff has been good against pressure. The only major concern is he wasn't good against pressure in this game. He was absolutely awful against pressure in this game. And you have to give Flores a ton of credit for dialing up these blitzes. But guess what? He doesn't blitz as much as he typically does in this game. He just got it right. He confused some of these young guys. And there was multiple times in this game, at least especially once late in this game, that they brought 4 guys, still got to Jared Goff pretty quickly, which is unacceptable going up against this Minnesota Vikings team. This is not what the Eagles' front four was last year. If that happened with that front four, fine. But this is not them whatsoever. And then also, if you want to talk about an unacceptable moment, like special teams-wise, the Lions were trying to lose this game whatever they possibly could. There was a blocked field goal, which would have absolutely tied it. There was a kick return touchdown for the Vikings that were called back because of a holding call. Special teams were not good in this game. No one was good in this game. It was an unacceptable performance. And I know that Dan Campbell understands that. I know that he knows that. But this team needs to be better. And I think they're going to get it right. I think they're going to get ready for the Commanders. And I think they're going to try to get this thing figured out. And hopefully there's no long-term injuries. The Lions are going to continue to get healthier, which is good. You are getting DJ Reed back eventually. You're getting some of these big guys back eventually. That's going to obviously help defensively. Hopefully you didn't lose anyone long-term offensively in this offensive line group. You need to get healthy. You need to get better. You need to throw this one away. This is one of those games that you look at the end of the day, you watch the tape once, you throw it away. You do not let this stick with this team, because if this sticks with this team, if you talk about a schedule that is real difficult, just look at the Lions. There's a real possibility that this could really spiral. And I don't think Dan Campbell will do that. I think at 5-3 right now, it's been a disappointing season. I think if they would have won this game and would have been 6-2, you're exactly where you need to be. You need to figure out ways to win these games coming up. And if you do so, you're completely fine. You need to beat the Commanders at this point. You cannot be 5-4 going into after the next game. You just can't be. You need to figure out something. And if you figure something out offensively, it needs to start with running the ball. That's where the Lions have succeeded. If you look at the games, the Lions have struggled to do offensive anything. It's been the games where they can't run the ball. It's been the games where they can't protect Jared Goff. It's been the games where they cannot run play action. And they were not able to do that in this game. When he did have time, he was able to do so. But there were several points in this game where the Lions were on the right side of what they needed to do. Ran play action or ran a pass play. Guess what? He gets sacked. 3rd and long. We talked about earlier how the Lions have been absolutely awful on 3rd and long. I do think some of it has to do with the play calling. I think the Lions need to be more aggressive. I don't think John Moran has been aggressive enough, especially on 3rd down. He seems to really be calling plays to set up that 4th down opportunity. Now, the Lions have been good with that, but there needs to be opportunities of being able to get 1st down after 3rd and longs, and you cannot just set up play after play after play to have a guy break a tackle to maybe get a conversion on 3rd down. The Lions need to be better. The Lions have struggled. I believe in this game they said that Lions on 3rd down has been 22nd in the league. The Lions last year, fantastic in the league. This year, not very good. That needs to be fixed. That needs to be addressed. I don't know if that means Dan Campbell starts calling more plays. I think John Moran has struggled the last couple of weeks. I think he needs to figure this thing out. I think getting J-Mo involved obviously helped this offense a little bit more. John Moran basically said that he let down Jameson Williams. Well, guess what? What this offense looked like when he was involved, it looked much better. He had a really nice catch, really nice touchdown. He needs to be involved from the get-go. Amon-Ra needs to be involved. Sam Laporta needs to be involved. Get these guys the ball. Figure something out. Because if you can figure something out offensively, this defense is good enough to win you a lot of these games. This defense, do I think is elite? No. Do I think is good? Yes. Just figure something out offensively. An unacceptable result can turn a season around, and you cannot let that happen in this one. The Lions need to get things right. The Lions need to address these things, and I think they will, or else we'll be talking about something real interesting and real concerning going forward. But there's too much talent on this team. There's too many good players on this team. They just need to get better. The young guys at the front need to get better. They need to get healthy, and something like this shouldn't happen. But hey, it's an in-division conference opponent. It's going to happen. You're going to lose these games at times. The Lions haven't been very great at losing these games. They've been very good at winning division opponents. You've lost 2 of them already. Figure things out. Get these wins. Get on the right track. Luckily, the Packers lost in this game, so there's real possibilities to continue to get better. You just need to figure things out. I think they will. I think the Lions will be fine, and I think they'll continue to get better as the season goes on. But definitely things to be concerned about, especially coming in off of a bye week. Don't necessarily love getting the loss there, but can't change the result at this point. You need to be better. You need to improve. I think Dan Campbell will get these guys going. I think he'll light a fire under them, and I think they'll be completely fine after that. But yeah, that is a wrap to episode number 509. Thank you for tuning into this episode, and make sure to tune in to the next couple because they're really fun interviews that I had completed.